This is Connie. Connie is our container carrying medication for Latin America. As the medication is quite sensitive, it must be ensured that it will not get too hot during transport. This means the temperature of the contained should remain below 15 degrees. That's why our container Connie is a temperature-controlled container, which features electrically powered cooling facilities. Connie started her trip in Essen and needs to reach a sea ship in the port of Zeebrugge to cross the Atlantic. To get there, Connie has to pass several hubs where the means of transportation is being changed. Currently, Connie is on her way by train and her next stop will be in Antwerp. There she will have to wait for 23 hours for her next train to Zeebrugge. In order to run the cooling facilities, Connie needs a power connection for actively cooling the medication. Unfortunately, the shipment of some other containers has been delayed due to a broken train. They are thus blocking all power connections, so none is left for Connie. And if nobody would recognize this critical situation and acts accordingly, the sensitive medication is threatened to become useless, thus implying loss of money. But fortunately, Connie is a smart container. She's able to monitor her temperature and her environment with internet-connected sensors, and thus can report problems to her transport manager before it is too late. All data provided by Connie is consolidated and analyzed by a future internet cockpit. Using this cockpit, the transport manager is immediately notified in case something goes wrong. Well, obviously something's going wrong here. But can the transport manager find out what exactly? Sure he can. With the help of his future internet cockpit, the transport manager immediately gets an overview of the situation. The cockpit combines current and historic data collected along Connie's transport route so far, and it also considers weather information along her further route. Based on all this data provided by the future internet, the situation can be analyzed. Connie's temperature, even though she has a proper insulation, will become warmer than the allowed temperature in 36 hours from now on. Unfortunately, considering Connie's route plan, the next opportunity for hooking her up to a power connection is at least 48 hours away. After having been notified about this issue by the future internet cockpit, the transport manager also gets massive decision support to handle the situation. The future internet cockpit automatically inquires alternative transport options such as trains, trucks and barges, as well as anything else that could affect his transport. Within seconds, the transport manager receives several suggestions from the future internet cockpit that can help to handle the situation. One suggestion is to order a truck that is faster than the train. It could get Connie to the next power connection in less than 36 hours. The future internet cockpit has already checked that the truck would be available and even provides the costs of 120 euro. Now, fortunately, we have a quick solution. But there is more to come. An even smarter suggestion is to disconnect an existing container and hook up Connie instead. The future internet cockpit has determined that one of the containers under the transport manager's supervision could easily be unplugged without causing a problem. This very fast solution would also only cost 30 euro. Connie's transport manager is really happy. Of course, he chooses the plug change option to quickly get Connie back to the power supply and solve the problem. The future internet cockpit immediately sends the order to the terminal employee and starts other processes, such as billing in the background. The terminal employee's mobile device shows a message informing him about the order. Now the terminal employee knows what to do. Connie and the medication have been saved. She's back on active cooling and will be able to keep her temperature below 15 degrees. Of course, she does not remain silent about this. She actively pushes the information through the future internet cockpit to her transport manager to let him know about the successful handling of the situation. 3 days later, Connie arrives in the port of Zeebrugge, ready to start her trip across the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, no one can avoid each and every possible threat. But the future internet enables us to better observe and even proactively monitor our environment before a threat becomes a problem, such that Connie and all the other containers can safely travel around the globe.